We're gonna get right. So today, right now, we got y'all caught me on the wrong day. I got finished eating, so I don't got nothing to drink today. So y'all, where's Richard? So we can't say we going Starbucks mode, but we gonna go ahead and we still gonna go crazy anyway, even without the drink. I may still get partial. I don't know. Um, but today I kind of titled it a little bit different. I said I said winning one on one. Yeah, I said winning one on one, and there's a reason why I said that. And the traditional, whatever you want to call it, is keys to success. But I'm gonna do something a little bit different. We can talk about the keys to success. It's gonna be the keys to success, but it's gonna be a little extra something in there too. Because I feel like it's keys to success is needed, but it's also some other stuff needed too. So before I go into the keys to success, I know shout out to Rudy, shout out to Eddie. They be going into a mental aspect. They be going into stuff like that. And that's cool. That's why I didn't want to do that, because that's them. But one thing I do want to start out with is this. Let me pull it up. All right. I'm gonna say that for later. But one thing I want to say, authenticity. Oh, before I even do that, y'all don't even know who I am. My name is Marquise Finch. I be skipping the introductions, bro. My apologies, but my name is Marquise Finch. I've been in the space for about a year, going on a year and a half, and like I always say, this has produced the best days of my life. My best days is a direct reflection of the information, people, relationships, impact that I've created in this space, and I'm truly grateful for what has transpired, what is transpiring, and what is going to transpire. And I always say, and y'all always get on me about all these sayings that I create, but y'all gotta remember, I'm an old head, bro. I'm a 20-year-old old head. Y'all gotta remember that. So I'm always grateful, but this time I'm grateful for being warm and vertical instead of cold and horizontal. So y'all let that sink in. I might you might catch that on the op call. You might catch that before you go to bed. But I'm grateful yet again to be on top of the ground instead of the ground being on top of me. And what does that mean? That means I'm warm and vertical instead of cold and horizontal. So back to what I was saying. One thing that I want to say before I go into the keys to success is I want to explain one thing, or else the keys to success will not work, or else the keys to success will lead you astray. You got to understand one thing first, and that is authenticity is the seed of humility. You got to understand that before you even go into the keys to success. Because if you go into the keys to success without authenticity, I mean, you already starting off wrong. So a lot of people that start into the keys to success, they go into the education bit, they'll walk you through the whole steps. But you are here, you're in this space, you're on this call, you paid your money. You may have thought you paid your money to trade, to know how to trade, to get a bag. That's ultimately what everybody signed up for. Nobody signs up for a better life. But that is the biggest thing you could take away from this joint, is a better life. And actually, a better life is a is an afterthought. That's an after statement. Because where authenticity comes from, it's within. I said this on my social media the other day. I said the biggest thing you can take away is stop looking at your life from the outside in, but from the inside out. And you got to realize that that's where authenticity comes from. So before you go into the keys to success, before you go into anything pertaining to what this business is objectively, you have to realize that it's not what you can get. It's not what you can do. It's who you become in the process. People are not attracted to who you are right now. Some people may, don't get me wrong. People can care less about who you're going to become. What they care about is the only thing that they can see. And what is the only thing they can see is your current reality. And you have to make sure that that current reality that they see is as authentic as possible. Now, let me break that down because I know that was a mouthful. So, one thing that I say is I say that who you are right now is not appealing to who you will become. But the people that will join you, the people that will sign up with you, can care less about who you are right now. They can care even less about who you're becoming. All they care about is what they can see. Now, what can they see? They see your current reality. That's why I say it's not about what you do today. It's what you do from today to tomorrow. That's called process. That's the only thing that they can see. Your current reality is process. Process is current reality. They're all the same thing. And that's the only thing that people can see. So you want to make sure that what they can see is as authentic as possible. I'm not going to do that this time. But that's what I want to say before we even go into the keys to success, is that authenticity is the seed of humility. Be as authentic as possible so you can breed being as humble as possible. So that who you build on the inside shows up as the right person on the outside. Remember that. It's not about what you can do. It's not about it's not about what you could do. It's not about what you can have. It's about who you become. Because I'm not impressed with somebody that gets a certain level of success and can't do it again. I'm not impressed with somebody that gets a certain level of success and did it the wrong way. Who I'm impressed with is somebody who became the person that they needed to be. And regardless on whether they're on the mountaintop or whether they're at the foot of the mountain, they're still the same person. See, I don't know if y'all saw this. I don't know if y'all follow me or not, but I say like sometimes people just think too small for me. Like me, they'll be content with people being geeked about them being on trainers. No, like I want chairman to be geeked about stuff that I'm doing. I want to be celebrated the same in momentum and the same in the pullback because my organization, our organization, is gonna be celebrated the same whether we're on the mountaintop or the foot of the mountain. And it's all because it's all about your authenticity. You got to be the same person on the mountaintop and on the foot of the mountain. I could care less about all this trading stuff. I could care less about all this builder stuff. I care about you. It don't make no sense for you to get $1 million trading. It don't make no sense for you to get $1 million building. You're still the same broke person you were a year ago mentally. It don't make no sense because people that don't change what really counts, or people that cut corners, or people that are not authentic, they'll get it, but they'll lose it just as quick. Hold on, we got a welcome in the chat. Let's go welcome our new member. Welcome. Yo, see, that's the thing, bro. Like, and I wasn't gonna say this. I wasn't gonna say this, but yo, I'm not playing no more. I'm not playing no more, bro. When it comes to this, I'm not playing no more. And I saw something yesterday when I was out cutting grass that just it really opened my eyes. It reaffirmed why I'm doing this. I'm gonna tell y'all the story. While I was cutting grass, I got out there. We was getting ready to start at the job, and I pulled up. We pulled up. The house was over here, but I had to park because I had the trailer at the next door neighbor's house. And I was just looking, I was like, man, like this house is in bad shape. Like I was like, and then a tree had fallen down. You could tell that it happened a while ago because the tree was, that part of the tree was dead. It wasn't like it was new. So it had fallen down, a bunch of branches had fallen down. And after a while, I had went in the backyard. I started in the backyard, I came back out, and it was a lady that had came out, and she was gathering sticks from the tree that had fallen down. And I was like, yo, like, I mean, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, I think maybe she was trying to pick it up. Maybe she wants to get it out of the way, stuff like that. But, I wasn't staring, I wasn't looking, but I just kept like, I would go do something and I'll come back. She'll still be there. And then some time had passed. and she had brought out this little barbecue pit thing. And I'm just being observant because I'm a very observant person. So I'm seeing all of this happen, and I'm seeing her collection of sticks, and I see she has some children inside of the house, and the children are coming out, and they're playing, they're doing this, they're doing their thing, like they just being children. And then the mom comes out, and she has this little bag of charcoal, and she's gathering sticks to put in the fire. And I'm just looking like I'm like, yo, and she pushed the chicken on the grill, everything like that. And it's like, bro, it made me think about some of the other things that I had experienced, like because I'm a part of the food bank. I give out food to places like this, and sometimes we have extra, so we'll go take it to this place in my city called Tent City, and it's where it's under the bridge, and everybody lives in a tent, and it's like there's so many tents it resembles a small city. And I'm thinking back on all of this, and I'm like, yo, like I'm in something right now that is a solution to so many people, whether that be you outside cooking on a small little got holes in a barbecue pit because you don't have a stove. You have you have your windows lifted up so you can get ventilation in the house, or you homeless living in a tent underneath underneath the highway. And it kind of reaffirms some of the reasons why I'm doing this. Because who am I to sit on here on these Zoom calls and to be, not doing what it is that I'm supposed to be doing on these Zoom on and off of these Zoom calls? That's why I started with authenticity breeds humility, or is a C for humility. Because it makes no sense for me to be a different person on the Zoom call and off of the Zoom call, on the mountaintop and on the foot of the mountain. I could care. Well, this is a vehicle, but you got to understand you first. That's what I say. Like on social media trainings, I say you got to have a you before you have a social media, because it don't make no sense for you to have a social media. You don't even know who you are. So before you even go to the keys to success, before you even deal with anything objective about this business, you need to sit and figure out why you're doing this. Not no, I'm not talking about no why. That's too much of a cliche. I'm not talking about you need to figure out your why. You need to do this. No, I'm saying you need to figure out one, why you're here on this earth. You need to figure out your earth why, and you need to figure out your business why. All of that, oh, I'm retiring my mom, that stuff is cool. Anybody can do that though. Anybody can retire their mom. Anybody can come into this space, do stuff right, and do all of that type of stuff. But what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with this? See, I look at that type of stuff and I'm like, I I can't afford not to be who I need to be, because there are people like that need somebody like me. There are people that are living in a tent right now. There are people that are, cooking their breakfast on a barbecue pit because they don't have a stove. So who am I to be playing with? One, my life, and two, when we get into the keys to success, other people's lives. See, I don't have time for all of this drama and all of this other business stuff. I don't have time for all that. I came here. I came here for me. But once I got in here, I realized that me is so much smaller than what needs to happen. So much smaller. Give me 1 second. That's crazy. But yeah, so before you even go into anything about this business, bro, just figure out who you are. And I'm not saying you're gonna get it day one. I'm not saying you're gonna get it day two, maybe even day 30. But being a part of this space is gonna show you much more about yourself than about your pockets. All that stuff is a result of what happens within. You'll never get that stuff, let alone keep it, if you don't be who you need to be on the inside. So before I go into stuff that is on the outside, we just learned about this a few hours ago. You can fix anything up how you want to on the outside. But when you tear down all of that, who's left or what's left? So authenticity is the seed of humility. So you see all of these people that you look up to talking about humility. You want to get to that point, you got to be authentic. You got to be authentic on the foot of the mountain and on the mountaintop. That's what people are attracted to. You want to know how you can get people into your business? That's how. That's how. You want people to show up more? What are they showing up to? Think about that. And I'll talk about that when we talk about hosting trainings. But I'm gonna go into it because I don't want to prolong the time. So there are 5 keys. There are 5 keys. I'm not gonna say them all at once. So you're gonna have to stick to the end. You're just gonna have to do that. You're just gonna have to stick to the end because one, like, this is not the way it's gonna go. First key to success is education. This is something that I pride myself on. Because if you want to go to step 3, which is prospecting and building a business, you need to be educated. And I want to say this too on education. Before I go into what education is, I want to go into the solution piece of it. See, we say that this business is a solution, but more so, it is a collection of solutions. Some people's solution is trading. Some people's solution is building. Some people's solution is both. And you have to have that level of discernment. But what I'm talking about right now is we're talking about the new member. What does the new member need to do? The new member needs to come in and be educated. Because if you paid attention to anything I just said for the past 20 minutes, you have to identify who you are. And once you identify who you are and what you want, you can then find means to do that. What are the means to do that? Your education. And I think it's so undervalued. Like, you pay $235 for what? To sit in front of a Go Live session all day? No. I pay money to learn. That's what y'all advertise. I pay money to learn. I pay money to know what I'm doing. I pay money so that I can go ahead and I can hop on and I can learn a skill set. So do that. Don't waste nobody's time, bro. Because I said I'm not on that type of time no more. I'm not on that type of time. If you're gonna pay your money and get your money's worth. I don't know if y'all like me, but I don't like wasting money. If you like wasting money, drop a 1 in the chat box. If you like wasting money, if you just got bread for real, you just like throwing it out. I'll wait. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be nobody, because nobody likes wasting money. So why are you gonna come in here and not get your money's worth? And I think the first key that you need to write down under education is you need to become educated on what you need to become educated about. Some people will call it awareness, but it's all under education. You need to become educated on what you need to become educated about. If you pay $235, what are you paying $235 for? What do you get? What did I pay my money for? What did I pay $325 for? Oh, I paid $235 to learn how to trade. Oh, I paid $235 to learn the skill set. Okay, cool. What do I need to do that? What steps do I need to take to learn the skill? What steps do I need to take to have my goal accomplished? You're at the beginning right now. You paid your money, you're at the beginning. Now you need to identify the end. What is the end goal? What am I getting out of this? Oh, you want to learn how to trade? Cool, that's the end. Now, like I said, people could care less about who you are right now. People could care less about who you're going to become. Only thing people really care about and what people really make decisions about is who you are in between. That's just like nobody cares about, December 19th, 1997. Nobody cares about, July 2020, whatever, 23rd, 2046. They care about the dash in between. The dash in between determines who you are as a person. The dash in between determines. I'm gonna give you a visual representation just in case you didn't catch my drift. People do not care about, the only people that care about this is your family. The only people that care about this is your family, maybe a couple friends. But your legacy, what everybody else sees you by, is this. The most undervalued thing on the tombstone is the dash. But that's the most important, because what you do in between that time determines who shows up when they put you in the ground. I can tell who you were by how many people showed up at your funeral. But you need to figure out, you're at the beginning. You need to figure out the end. Once you get those two established, now it's time to talk about the dash. Now it's time to talk about the dash, because that is the most important part. What are you going to do in between? How are you going to learn how to trade? How are you going to catch the bag that you talk about? How? So you need to become educated on what you need to become educated about. That's establishing the beginning and the end. Now it's time to talk about the dash. What is the dash? Okay, I need to go in my basic videos. I need to go in my FRX Academy, my HFX Academy, DCX Academy. Once I get out of that, I need to follow, I need to pick a product. I need to find an educator, and I need to stick to them so I can really learn this. And I think one of the most undervalued thing is being afraid to put your head in the books. Bro, like, if you're gonna pay this money, you need to put your head in the books. That's like people pay for college and don't go to class. They don't study. And then when people hear that scenario, they quick to say, "Oh, you waste your money." It's the same thing here. You pay your money, and you don't get any academies. You don't follow no educators. You don't trade. So what are you paying your money for? To get in a chat? What are you paying your money for? So once you become educated on what you need to become educated about, it's time to actually go ahead and put that into action. Get in your academy. Set up a time. Set up a time every day. I'm going to get in my academies Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 2 o'clock. And this is another thing I'm going to say too. You do not become attached to this business. This business becomes attached to you. You don't meet the business where it is. This business meets you where you are. Anybody that tells you otherwise is doing it wrong. You take this business and put it on what you have going on already. You don't go and you don't quit your job on the first week. No. You apply this to what you have going on already. It's a very subjective business. At least that's the way I do it. I don't try to say, "Oh, this is it. This is it." I say, "No. This is not the only way to go." I acknowledge that. This is not the only way to go. This is not the only way to be successful. It's just better. And I'm going to show you why. It's not the only way to go be successful. Once I hit a certain rank, I'm going and I'm diversifying. Like I'm diversifying my portfolio personally. But what I'm going to tell you as a new member is I'm not going to tell you to go do X, Y, and Z, knowing that I know where you were. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Like, make this business revolve around what you have going on already. Because you're not gonna, it's this thing is all about decisions. It's about what's better, what's not, what's beneficial, what's not, what's worth me plugging into, what's not. So one, I'm gonna tell you that this is better. Two, I'm gonna show you why. And three, I'm gonna give enough value to it to where you're gonna want to come back. You're gonna want to learn more so that you can get out of what you're already doing. If you like working, drop a 3 in the chat. If you like working. Some people do, some people don't, but most don't. But we got to do what we got to do. You have to pay the bills some way, form, or fashion. You have to. So you need to put yourself in a position to where you become educated what you need to become educated about. See, Hayes said, I hate my job, but you got to work it in order to pay the bills. Because who going to pay the bills? Who going to do that? You got to do what you got to do. And you got to understand that. And for my IBOs, for my business owners, I'm going to get to y'all in a minute. I got something for y'all. But revolve this business around what you have already so that you can incrementally get to the point where, okay, this is what I'm doing now. I don't need a job no more. Become educated on what you need to become educated about. Then get educated. Like a lot, like, I'm not going to say you need to know everything, but you need to know the basics of everything. You don't need to know everything. And I say this for my IBOs too. This is kind of like my joke to IBOs. Like, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to know an expert. You just got to know more than the competition. I don't need to know. I don't need to be an expert. I don't need to be a master trader, but I need to know how to trade more than you. Why? So people can join me. But I'll get to that in a second when I talk about plugging in your results. So once we become educated, once we know we need to become educated about, it's time to actually put that into action. It's time to actually, get into the academies, plug into a product, plug into the educators, get on the Go Live sessions, and then get on the materials that they give you. Go out and practice for yourself. Go out and practice. Go out, set up a demo account. Set up a demo account. And you might want to set up a live account before you do the demo account. It's like, hey, you don't know what you're doing. And well, I'm talking about trading now. But if you're on the products, you cool. You can just hop on the product, learn the product, trade on a real account. But if you're moving into trading, do not open up a live account before you open up a demo. That's crazy. You don't know what you're doing, and you're gonna go and trade your real money that you probably need. No. That's why it's important to become educated. Become educated. Like, I can't say this enough. Bro. Because you cannot get to the end without the education thereof. You cannot make an accomplishment without the information thereof. I said this before. People can care less about who you are and who you're going to become. But what I didn't say is you have to create the person you want to be. How do you create the person you want to be? You got to know the information in order to create that person. And what is the visual representation of creating the person that you want to become? It's process. It's current reality, which is the only thing that everybody else can see. You see how it's kind of making sense now? You see how it's kind of making sense? All right, hold up. Who's in the chat, bro? We got another welcome. Hey, y'all in these welcomes, bro. But don't go out here trading your real money that you probably need and you don't know what you're doing. And you know that you know what you don't know what you're doing. That's just setting everybody up for failure. Let's not do that no more. Let's not do that no more. If you genuinely do not know what you're doing, do not trade in the markets. Don't do that. Like, I don't understand that. It goes against common sense, honestly. It goes against common sense. If you don't know what you're doing, that's like me. Like, imagine putting a basketball player on the football field for money. What? You gonna put somebody out there that doesn't know what they're doing for money? Like, what? That's just no. So if you don't know what you're doing, get educated so that you can know what you're doing. Then you can trade with your real money once you become comfortable. Like I said, this is an incremental game. This is an incremental game. This is a solution, but it's not a solution today. You got to make it one. Yes, you open the door. That's another thing I'm going to talk about. IBOs. Hold up. When you click enroll now, that is opening. That's not impact. That's opening the door to impact. What comes afterwards is impact. So it's a solution. Don't get me wrong. But it's opening the door to the solution. You got to make it the solution. That's where a lot of people go wrong, is they don't make it a solution because they get too caught up in between because they don't know what they're doing. And they go trade in the markets knowing they don't know what they're doing, then they lose money, then they blame it on their mentor, they go back and forth, they reload the account, then they go blow it again, and it's no, know what you're doing, and then we have the next step now. Plug in and get results. Plugging in and getting results is easy. Once you do what you're supposed to do, like if you get educated, getting results is easy, but it's voluntary. I'll get into that in a minute. Getting results is easy, but it's voluntary. You have to want to do it. You have to do it in order for it to get done. So when it comes to plugging in and getting results, it's just a matter of taking the education and acting on it. That's all it is. You taking that education and you going into markets, you going into products, you going on Cash Trap, you going on Pivots, Level Steady, whatever product you're on. You're taking that education and you're actively implementing it into the strategy. You're going out, you're on a demo account, you're taking trades. Cool. You take enough trades, you're going to make some money. And the trades that you lose, you're going to learn how to win. That's typically how it works. If you do what the strategy tells you to do, if you do what the educator tells you to do, and you lose, it's a learning situation. Unless it's just something crazy that happens in the markets. But more than likely, you're going to make some money. It's not hard. You plug it to the products, you're going to make some money. You plug it to the scanner, you're going to make some money. You plug it in Cash Trap, you're going to make some money. It's just a matter of it being voluntary. People don't realize and acknowledge and act on the fact that it's voluntary. You have to do it. If you don't say, okay, I'm trading every day at 9 a.m. and then get on the charts every day at 9 a.m., you're not going to make money. Oh, I'm going to plug in a midnight snack on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You don't plug in a midnight snack on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're not going to make any money. It's like what people be saying, this business is simple. It's simple, but it's voluntary. It's voluntary. You have to get up and do it. You have to do it. If you don't do it, it ain't going to get done. If you don't push call or put, exactly. If you don't push call or put, if you don't push trade, if you don't push buy stop, sell stop, if you don't push market instant execution, if you don't press those buttons, you're not going to make any money. You may know how to make money, but you're not going to make money until that happens. Hold up. All right, we good. We good. So yeah, it's just about like taking the education, because the education by itself does nothing. I can tell you that from experience. The education itself does nothing for you. You can know everything by the book, but if you don't actively plug in and get results, lock in and get results, it won't happen. Now, that means trading, and that also means the Zoom calls. This is a big one. So plugging into the Zoom calls is voluntary. I'll talk about why it's voluntary in the next step after that. But plugging into the Zoom trainings is a part of locking in and getting results. Because you cannot get to the destination. If you start at A, you can't get to B without the education thereof. You can't get to your destination without knowing where you're going. How do you know what you're going? You got to get exposed to the information. Once you get exposed to the information, you can now make a decision to act on it. You get on the Zoom call right now. I'm not even halfway done yet. I'm not, honestly. But you get exposed to the information, and now you can go pass the information on to someone else with understanding. You can plug in. That's another thing I'll talk about in a minute. Because sometimes people just be playing telephone. That's not cool at all. But when it comes to plugging in and getting results, locking in and getting results, the Zoom calls is one of the, how do I want to say this? One of the best and most valuable things you can get into, because it's local. It's right here. It's immediate. You go try and DM Matthew Thayer. See how long it take you for him to hit you back. But you got your mentor that come on a call every single day that's providing information. And you can type on a Zoom call and they'll most likely answer right then and there. They might have their Instagram on the bottom left. You can hit them up and they'll hit you back as soon as the call is over. Answer your questions. You got direct mentors that come on the calls. And all they want you to do is plug in. If you plug in and get exposed to the information, you'll be a lot better off. Imagine how much less phone work you would do if you would show up to a Zoom call. Like imagine how less work. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? It's a word for that. Imagine how many calls you wouldn't have to make if more people showed up to Zoom calls. I want you to let that sink in. Imagine how many questions you wouldn't have if you would have just showed up to the Zoom call. That's what I said this. I did a systems training. I was like, when an IBO goes from maintenance to growth in their phone work, that's when their business starts to grow. Like a lot of people, and I'll talk about more about this on phone work, but a lot of people, they'll do phone work and it's in maintenance mode. They're trying to patch the holes while water is still coming through. If their phone work is like patching it up. They say, oh, hop on a Zoom call. Oh, hop on a Zoom call. Oh, hop on a Zoom call. Oh, you need help with this? You should have been on a Zoom call. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Imagine how many of those calls you wouldn't have to make if the people would just show up to the Zoom call. And I'm gonna tell you why people don't plug into the Zoom calls. It's not worth it. Why would I plug into a Zoom call? And that's one thing I have to change about my trainings. Is whether you know me or not, I'm gonna make this Zoom call worth your time. You gotta make it worth somebody plugging into. If somebody don't plug in, they don't think it's worth it. It's simple. Like this, it's about decisions. People decide to plug in or not. That's a decision. They see it. They see it. They as much as we plug chats, people see these Zoom calls. But they decide not to plug in. Why? I don't want to hear that. So I'm gonna make it worth your time. I'm gonna make it to where you're gonna want to do this. Like I said, this business is simple. It's just voluntary. You can do all the phone work you want. But until you realize that it's voluntary and you have to get people to want to do this for themselves, then what good are you really doing? Now we're on to our next step. We're on to our next step. Our next step is prospecting, which is also easy. Because I told you what prospecting is. People don't care about who you are right now because they don't know you. People don't care about who you're becoming because they don't know them neither. All they care about is what they can see. What can they see? Your progress, your current reality. So if you show people your current reality, if you show people where you've been opposed to where you're going, that's how you prospect well. That's how you prospect better. You could go back to authenticity. Hold on. That's back to authenticity. Like, you got to be the same person in the business and outside of the business. You can't say one thing on your Instagram, and when the person joins your business, it's a completely different thing. You can't do that because authenticity is the seed of humility. So you got to remember when you prospecting, it's all about it's all about your image, to say the least. How do people see you? What do they see? They can't make a decision on how they see you if they don't even see you in the first place. So are you only on social media? How often? And when people look at your social media, what do they think? That's honestly what it's all about, fam. It's just about how people see you. When people look at your progress, what do they see? When people look at your progress, would they join you? Like I said, like I'm not impressed with somebody that goes P150 in 24 hours. I'm not impressed with somebody that goes P600 in a week. I'm not impressed. Because you bringing all of these people into the business and you still don't know what you're doing. So what them people in the business for? Not impressed. But when it's talking about prospecting, how do people see you? Do people see you? And when they see you, are you the same person? Do you have the same energy when you was prospecting them opposed to when they in the back office? That determines how well you're gonna prospect the next person. Because honestly, if you're the right person and people see that consistently, people are gonna join you. But and I'm a support this fact. I want you to drop a number one. If most, if not all, of your personal enrollments came from people you talked to before but didn't join your business until weeks or months later. I want you to drop a one if that's you. If most or all of your personal enrollments came from something like that. Because it's a thing. Some people they'll join automatically. Some people are like that. That's a minority. But most people, you'll talk to them, they'll say no, and then be the same people that be in your views consistently. They'll look at what you got going on and they'll make a decision based off of what? Progress. Based off of what? The only thing that they can see. They don't see what happens on these Zoom calls. They don't see what you do when you're off of the Zoom call. The only thing they can see is the progress you show them. And what do they make a decision off of? When they decide to join your business, that's not a right now decision. That's the decision they've made weeks ago. How do they make that decision? Based off of what you show them. They can't make a decision off of something you don't show them. What is the only thing they can see? Your progress, your current reality. So when it comes to your social media, you need to be posting consistently. I learned this from Eric Thomas. If you got a message and if you're going to promote something, it's inefficient for you to sporadically post it on one stream. Like let's say you got Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, and whatever other one, YouTube. You got 5 major streams that you can, deliver a message off of. And you're gonna do it on one and you don't even do it every day. How many people do you think are gonna see that message? It's not about who responds. That's one thing I noticed about too. Like social media isn't about who interacts. It's never about who interacts. It's about the people that don't interact. It's the people that look at your stuff and don't interact. Those are the people that look at your stuff. Those are the people that you're going to want to be interested in. It's not the people that, like, comment, share. No, it's not the people that, answer on the polls. It's about the people that are in the background. So it's inefficient for you to sporadically post it on one stream because it's not about who responds to the message. It's about who sees the message. The more people that see the message, the more people that hear the message, the more people can make a decision on said message. The more decisions you have, the more yeses you get. It's simple, but it's voluntary. So you have to remember that when you out prospecting. Yes, that's crazy. We almost had an hour and like 11 people hopped off. That's cool though. So just make sure authenticity is the seed of humility. You have to be the same person on the mountaintop, on social media, and in the business. It's not about who responds, it's about who sees it. The more people that see it, the more people can make a decision to respond. The more decisions you have, the more yeses you get. The more yeses you get, the more enrollments you have. So, next one. Next one is hosting trainings. All right, I'm gonna say this. Hosting trainings is a direct reflection of how serious you took step number one. When you host a training, people are looking to you as the source of information. Because you sitting on this Zoom call, what am I sitting on the Zoom call for? To listen to you. Say what you got to say. So the quality of your Zoom training, the quality of your training in general, is a direct reflection of how serious you took step one. Now, how many people are impacted by your training is how seriously you took step number two. Because step number one, step number two, you get those two right, you won't have to worry about whether your training is valuable. Because one, you know the information. Two, you've put the information into action. And three, you're putting people in a position to do the same thing. So remember, this business is simple. It's just voluntary. And so are trainings. Hopping on a training is voluntary. It's not mandatory to hop on a training. So why make it? See me? I'm gonna promote my training like 1 or 2 times. I'm gonna edify it, do it like that. But if people don't hop on my training, they don't want to receive my value. And that's cool with me. That's cool. But for the people that show up, I'm going to make sure that you want to hop on my training again. How do I do that? By one, giving you the information you showed up for. And two, not making it boring. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm not here to do all of that. You've been through school already. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to show you that I was once where you were. And since I took step one and step two seriously, here I am. You could do the same thing if you plug into the trainings and host trainings. So when you host trainings, it's just about how seriously you took step one and step two. If you know what you're doing, you're going to start giving trainings everywhere. People are going to call you on the phone asking questions. You can give a training right there. It don't have to be one of these, just an hour long. You can get a little mini training right there. Once you get step one and step two right, hosting trainings that's the door opening for hosting trainings. It's just step one and step two. Once you get those two right, it's easy. All you have to do, open up Zoom, and people are gonna show up. Only if you make it worth their time. Think about it. If somebody drop your favorite rapper right here in the chat. Drop your favorite rapper. No, I can't use Pop in that example. I can't use Pop. Kendrick, Megan. Was that Dominique? That was Acacia. You in Dominique's business, so that explains that one. All right, I seen Drake a couple times. So if Drake showed up to your city and said, I'm gonna have a concert for free, you're gonna be there. Why? Because it's Drake. Whenever Drake, does his thing, you know that it's gonna be a hit. Like for me, it's Migos. If Migos came to my city and had a little gig for free, yo, I'm there. Even if it was cheap, like, bro, like, it's crazy. I'm there. Why? Because it's the Migos, and I know when they do their thing, I'm gonna enjoy it. So it's the same thing. Whenever you see a name on a Zoom call, you have a choice on whether you want to plug in or not. You already know if you're gonna plug in or not based off, the training and who's doing it. And that's what people don't want to talk about. People want to talk about that. You know exactly if you're gonna hop on that training. If you see the name of it, you see who's doing it and at what time. You know exactly if you're gonna hop on or not. You know exactly if you're gonna hop on or not. Ain't no promotion, ain't no flooding gonna do that for you. No, it ain't gonna change your mind. You already know what you about to do. If somebody try to step and try to change your mind on the street, you ain't gonna handle that. I If you set in your ways and somebody on the street tell you otherwise, you're gonna have a problem with that. So if you already know if you're gonna plug it or not. Y'all are grown, bro. That's like y'all are grown. If I'm doing a training, I'm doing a training, whether you on it or not. But when I if you are on my training, you're gonna want to come back again. Not because of the information, because my perspective, you got Mr. Marvelous, you got Mr. Rudy, we all host trainings, but they're voluntary. See, look, right there, you already know if you're gonna hop on or not. So the key isn't making sure more people see it. It's just making it worth their time. They're not gonna plug in for something that's not worth their time. So yeah, that's just the whole bit about hosting training. Like, and then I'll say this too. You take number 1 and 2 seriously, you're gonna be prepared to host a training. You do number 3 right, you have an obligation to. I'll repeat that again. You do steps 1 and 2 right, you'll be prepared to host a training. You do number 3 right, you'll be obligated to. Because, like I said, it makes no sense to bring people into the business and leave them out to dry. It makes no sense to bring people into the business and you not know what you're doing. Because this is a solution to so many people. This is a potential solution to so many people. And when they come to you, they're looking for you to provide that solution to them. You cannot do that if you do not know what you're doing. So if you get enrollments, you are obligated. Well, you're not obligated, but it's on you because they're looking to you ultimately to provide that value and actually show them the ropes, and actually show them that this is worth their time. Show them that this is a solution for them. Show them what they can do with this. If you don't, that's on you. And ultimately, that's the more phone work you got to do. So remember that when you hosting trainings. When you hosting trainings, it's about showing, how do I want to put this? Showing people I was once where you were, and this is what you could do with this. That's pretty much what it's about. That's why I like trainings where I can come on and I can just like talk about my journey. Talk about what you could do to make this work for you. All those objective calls, I don't really like that because that's just spitting out information. That's just regurgitating information. Well, if I could tell you, okay, I was where you were at one point in time, this is what you need to do. You do this, you can get this result. Once you do that, that opens up the door for their voluntary work. If they do the voluntary work, they'll get the result that follows. Now, phone work. Okay. You get 1 and 2 right, you'll be prepared to do number 4. You get education plugging in right, you'll be prepared to host a training. You won't only be obligated to host a training if you have people to give a training to. However, phone work ensures that the people that were on the training are still on the right track to get the result they intended on in the beginning. That's what it is. Phone work is just making sure people are on track. But there are 2 types of phone work. There's phone work for maintenance. Yes, that's number 5, is phone work. So there's phone work for maintenance to keep your business afloat. And then there's phone work for growth, to grow your business. Now, the distinction between the two is if you're doing phone work for maintenance, it's just like, yo, I need you here. I need you. It's the difference between edifying and maintaining your business. There's a major difference. But it's like you're on the phone to keep people versus you get on the phone to grow people. It's a fine line between that. You on the phone to keep people versus you on the phone to grow people. Now, some people they'll get on the phone and they'll think that they're growing, but they're really keeping them because it's the same stuff. When I'm on the phone or when I get to be on the phone, I don't want to put this. I want to make this as simple as possible. I could care less about anything that happens in this business. Like I could do this business if they didn't pay me, trade it or build it. If I can expose this opportunity to others, I would do it for free. And my main priority when I get on the phone is to make sure you become the person you need to be to get the end result that you want twice. And here's what I mean by that. What I mean by twice. Anybody can work for a goal and get it. But once or if you lose that goal, you lose it, would you be able to do it again? And it's that question that I aim to answer. Yes, I need you to become the person that can achieve that goal. But that's not where I stop. I want you to be the person that can achieve the goal multiple times, whether you gain it or when you lose it. Once you, that's what I aim to do in my phone work. Then I can talk about stuff in the business. Are you trading? Are you doing this? Whatever. Hold up. But that's my main priority is just growing people. Being I don't want to say an inspiration, but being that person that is caring about you, then how you can grow the other situation. Because ultimately, trading and building is what happens on the outside. It's a direct reflection of what happens on the inside, and that is my main priority in phone work. It's just what happens on the inside, who you become on the inside. Then you'll start trading. Then you'll start building. Then that's when you start worrying about all that other stuff. But if you're on the phone to like, okay, you get edify the training. Boom, we had this training coming up XYZ. But the moment you have to call somebody to, I don't want to put this because I feel like I'm merging edification and the other thing too much to the point where you don't know the difference. I want to make sure I get this right. There's a difference between calling somebody to get them on the training, and then there's a difference between calling somebody to make sure that they understand why they should be on the training. Because, like I said, it's voluntary. So you do phone work to activate the voluntary instead of getting them on the phone to, just get on. Because if they get on, they're getting on for you, not for them. You want them to get on for them, not for you. I think that's the way I wanted to say that. Like, if I call occasion, now I'm calling occasion, and I'm making her realize why she should get on this training, edification. I want her to get on it for her, not for me. Opposed to occasion, you need to get on this call. Like it's starting in 5 minutes. You need to get on this call. Then she gets on the call, and it's like her name is on there, but she doing all this other stuff in the background, doing all that kind of stuff. No, I want to do phone work so that you get on the call for you, not for me. Once I get to that point, I don't need to make the same kind of phone call anymore. Once you start to get on it for you, I don't have to make that type of phone call anymore. because I've done my job. This business is simple. It's just voluntary. So get people to want to do this. You get people to want to do this, you have to do less phone work. And that's the whole point. That's my take on phone work. Because I feel like I wanna add to the keys to success. There's some people that's here that don't know what the keys to success is. That's why I did the breakdown. But I want to do stuff that's, adding on top of it. Because, to me, we grow. I can tell you this is a solution. I can tell you all of the information. But ultimately, it's up to you to act on it. We say that all the time. But if I'm gonna do phone work, I'm gonna do it to show you why you should do it. Not for edification, not to edify, just to say I'm edified. But to say, look, you want to get here, this is how you get there. And once you want to do it for yourself, then we can start talking about, cool, you on here, here's what you gotta do next. Cool, you start doing that. Then you start doing something else. I said, look, this business fits to who you are already to incrementally get rid of the person you once were. Ooh, that's good. Hold on. this this person for like this business forms to you to incrementally get rid of the person you once were. This is about growth, not maintenance. Don't be afraid to put your head in the books. Don't be afraid of that. No, like nobody's gonna tell you not put your head in the books because you paid your money for a reason. You paid your okay. So I said you form this business to you to incrementally get rid of the person you once were. I think that's what I said. Form this business to you to incrementally get rid of the person you want. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Okay. Because it's not about who you are right now. It's not about who you're becoming. It's about the dash and what you do in between. Because that's the only thing that other people can see. So yeah, don't be afraid to put your head in the books. Don't be afraid to take action. Like it's incremental, but it's action nonetheless. So make sure you're really doing this thing because ultimately, if you're on this call, I think I can safely say this. Let me see. But you are building your life. You're not just doing this as a side gig. You are building your life right now. The decisions you make in this business determine how your life goes. And if you bring people in under you, you now have their future in your hands. So there's no more there's no more time for all this. I think Lay says something like pity patty whatever, but it's no more time for this. Just I'm doing this or I'm doing that. No, because ultimately, if it's not yours, you got other lives counting on you. I said I didn't say this in this context, but I said you have a message. And there are people that were created to listen to the words that come out of your mouth. So you ought to take the words that come out of your mouth that much more seriously. And that's in context of the business too. There are people that were created to look at what you're doing and be changed by it. So there's no more time for, you know, all this other type of stuff. It's time to get serious. Because ultimately, we reshaping this whole thing. We can't do that if we don't become authentic on who we are. You got to figure out who you are so that you can figure out who you can become so that you can act on everything in between. So with that being said, are there any questions? Hold up. Trying to exactly. And I think that was, yeah. Sergio, hit me up. Hit me up on Instagram. It's on the bottom left.